All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we go through Matt Miller's ESPN 7 round mock draft and look at who he drafted and then tell you who we would have drafted in his place. And we went with some of his picks because I thought some of his picks were really, really good. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out there in Emeryville, there in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. We're also brought to you throughout the month by our spring training sponsors, Claw Daddy Arcades. Claw Daddy's got 3 locations in Southern California, spots in Fresno and Modesto. He's got a spot opening in the Bay Area as well. Follow him on Instagram at claw_daddy_arcades and find a location near you. And we're also brought to you by LearnKey Upskill Academy. The video sponsored by them as well. They're an online learning platform designed to get you job ready in 6 months or less. Whether you're interested in IT, cybersecurity, marketing, could be any field, really. They offer over 30 different certification programs to help you take the next step in your professional career. 37 years in the biz, over 200,000 students that they've worked with. They get over 100 graduates every month placed with brand new jobs. So if you don't like your job, you're a little underskilled, you want to be a little bit more skilled so you can get more pay and a better job, check it out. LearnKey's Upskill Academy, and the links are in the description for all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of them for being proud sponsors of the Krug Show. All right, Matt Miller, ESPN NFL draft analyst, did a 7 round mock draft last week, and we had him on the show a few weeks ago. Great guy, and he knows he's a Niner fan, so he cares about the Niners. But he put together a 7 round mock draft with all 257 picks in the entire draft, and we'll go through it and tell you who he picked, and then we'll tell you who we would have picked in this draft, and it really does illustrate how deep this draft is and how much opportunity there is in this draft. All right, so in round 1, Matt Miller has the Niners taking Will Johnson, a corner out of Michigan, and then coming back in round 2 with Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. I think Walter Nolan is the best defensive tackle in the draft, and the Niners badly need a defensive tackle. I would take Walter Nolan in the first round. I really would. If you want to trade back for more selections, if you feel like you can do that and still get your guy, do it. But that's who I'm taking in round 1. I'm taking the best defensive tackle, and I love Kenneth Grant from Michigan, but I think Walter Nolan is that player. He's really good against the run, really good against the pass. He himself is a Niner fan, which is always cool, but that's secondary, of course. Walter Nolan. Yeah, is it a round early? Is it value? It might not be value. I don't care. Greg Cosell said he reminds him of Jalen Carter. I get some Jalen Carter vibes myself. This guy's so big and fast and strong. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. He went to A&M. He was great there. He transferred to Ole Miss. He's been even better. He's good against the run and the pass. I love the motor. I love the quickness. I love this guy on stunts and traps and twists, and I think he could be deadly. So I'm taking Walter Nolan in the first round. And then since Matt took Walter Nolan in the second round, I can take anybody I want in the second round. I think I'm taking in the second round, I want to, to me, you got 2 major needs. You got the offensive line and the defensive line, right? Those are the 2 spots you got to fill. And to me, I'm looking for, special players. Offensive linemen the prospects, they're hardly any of them are ready to roll right away. They almost all need tutelage and work. And so I'm thinking upside and future play at the offensive line. And I think with my second round pick, I think I'm going to go with a kind of a wild sleeper here. I'm going to go with Charles Grant, the offensive lineman from Tiny William and Mary. 6'4", 300-pounder. He's from Portsmouth, Virginia. He went to Churchland High School. This guy's got 35-inch arms, really, really long arms. The quality of the competition's a concern, but I think you can play him at left guard to start and then move him out to left tackle. He was an academic honor roll guy. He's got a wrestling background. To me, that's what you're looking for. He's got experience, lots of experience. He was the team captain. He played his entire career at left tackle, but I think he could probably play left guard to start off. As I said, academic honor roll throughout. You know, pancake deluxe. I mean, this guy had 40 pancake blocks as a junior. He had 41 career starts. He had 36 straight. He allowed just one sack in 2024, just two sacks over his final three seasons. Three-time Virginia Sports Information Director, All-State first team selection. William and Mary had a great rushing attack. They were fourth in the nation in rushing. They averaged over 232 yards per game rushing, 24th in total offense, over 413 yards per game. This guy's just a great guy. I mean, to me, what you're looking for is a big time prospect. This guy's it. Very athletic, very long, lots of potential. You're looking for a guy who's a good guy. He is a good guy. He's charitable. He's a bone marrow donor. You're looking for a smart guy. He's a smart guy. You're looking for a tough guy. He's a tough guy. So I love it. To me, Charles Grant. So I'm starting off with Walter Nolan. And I'm going to Charles Grant in round 2. So he's got, Matt Miller goes Will Johnson, corner, and then Walter Nolan in round 2. I'm going Walter Nolan in round 1. I'm coming back with Charles Grant in round 2. All right, in round 3, he's got the Niners taking Arianti Ursary from Minnesota. And I like that pick, but I like Emory Jones more. I like Emory Jones, the offensive tackle from LSU. And if you have a guy like Grant and a guy like Emory Jones, you can try them both at guard and tackle. Jones played right tackle for LSU opposite Will Campbell. And a lot of people feel like he's a guard at the next level. I think he's a tackle. I think he's a right tackle, but I also think he could play guard. But I really like Emory Jones. I think his upside potential is the best of almost any offensive lineman. To me, between Charles Grant and Emory Jones, you're taking two of the more athletic upside offensive linemen and two guys that could be foundation piece offensive linemen for you. So that's what I'm doing in the first 3 picks. With the 4th pick overall, which is my second, third round pick, Matt Miller said the Niners going with Cameron Williams, the big tackle from Texas. I have the Niners going with Kyle Kennard, the defensive end from South Carolina, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, very productive. His workout numbers were just okay. I'm not as concerned about that. This guy's a really, really productive player in the best conference in the country. He gets after it. I would have loved to have gotten Olufemi Oladejo here, but I'm going with Kyle Kennard. And if Kennard wasn't there, I'd probably take Oladejo. But that to me is those two guys would be perfect complements to Nick Bosa outside. So in round 4, Matt Miller had the Niners taking Savion Jones, and I agree. I'd stay with that pick. So I like Savion Jones. Savion Jones is a 290-pound defensive end who can play defensive tackle as well. I think he'd be a really good 49er in the 4th round. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a really, really smart pick in the 4th round. Savion Jones. In round 4, Matt Miller has the Niners going running back RJ Harvey, and I would agree. Go with RJ Harvey. 4.4 speed, really small target, nice little receiver out of the backfield. I think RJ Harvey in the Niners offense would be absolutely fantastic. In round 5, he's got Nebraska tight end Thomas Fedone. I'm saying go with CJ West, the defensive tackle from Indiana. At this point in the draft, it would be incredible value. I expect West to maybe come off the board in the 3rd round. But if he's there in the 5th round, like he is in this Matt Miller mock, I'm taking him. CJ West is, he unblockable in the lead up to the Shrine practices. I mean, he was just absolutely amazing. So to me, if you could get CJ West and Walter Nolan, you're plugging up the middle and doing a hell of a job. In the 2nd pick in round 5, he's got the Niners taking Cody Simon, the linebacker from Ohio State. And even though I like that pick, to me, who I'm going with here is Tez Johnson. I'm taking a flyer on Tez. He was unguardable in the Mobile, in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. Penn State, he had 11 catches for 181 yards. Now, he ran 4.51 and he stood on it. So the 40 times questionable, and he's tiny. But this guy is such a big play guy. And the Niners have to find some receiving help without Debo, without Aiyuk. And there was receivers early they could have looked at, but I prioritized going in other directions position wise. But Tez Johnson here in the 5th round, I think is worthy of a flyer. Just because he's an outlier. He's 155 pounds. Normally that's too small to play in the NFL, but I think this guy might be able to play. And I think he could really give the Niners offense an element of elusiveness and big playability that they don't have. So I'm taking a flyer on Tez in round 5. And that leads us to round 7. Now, Matt Miller has Riley Leonard, Willie Lampkin, and Hunter Wohler. And I love Riley Leonard, but I don't have the Niners going Riley Leonard here because I just think that, between Mordecai and Mac Jones and Brock, I really think they're kind of set at quarterback. But I like Riley Leonard a lot. I think there's some magic there. But in the way this mock came down, when I got to the 7th round, there's all kinds of good players on the board. One of them's Eugene Asante. Eugene Asante is the safest pick in the whole draft. He worked out great. His tackling numbers, his production's off the charts. If you saw him in the All-Star game, he's hyperactive. He loves to run. He loves to hit. He's flying all over the field. He's active. He's passionate. That guy is a 220-pound version of Dre Greenlaw. So I'll take him right there in the 7th round, Eugene Asante, and I wouldn't think twice. And then I would agree with Matt Miller taking Willie Lampkin. And I sent Matt a text. I'm like, Matt, I love your Willie Lampkin pick in day 3. And he's like, man, he's my draft crush. And he's mine too. I mean, this guy is 5'11", 285 pounds, 290 pounds, but he's got the arm length of a guy who's 6'5". He's tough as hell. He'll fight you inside of a phone booth. I think he could be a Pro Bowl fullback. I want this guy at center, guard, or fullback in short yardage. I want this guy blocking for me on the line of scrimmage with all the marbles on the table. I want to see the Niners on Super Bowl Sunday in a formation, from 1st and goal from the 2, where this guy's at fullback or center or guard, because I really think you'd have a hard time in a leverage situation blocking or getting out of the way of the block of a Willie Lampkin. So Willie Lampkin absolutely is the same. So, of Matt Miller's picks, I'm going with 4 of the same, right? Willie Lampkin, R.J. Harvey, Savion Jones, and Walter Nolan. Maybe not in the same order, but the same. And then for the 7th pick, he's got Hunter Wohler, a safety from Wisconsin. I'm going with Chandler Martin, the linebacker from Memphis. To me, if you could come away with Eugene Asante and Chandler Martin, they're both about 6 feet. They're both about 220 pounds, and they're both awesome. They're the kinds of guys that if you could clone them, you would. They're hyperactive. They're tough. They're captains. They're tackling machines. They're futuristic, next level NFL linebackers. Eugene Asante and Chandler Martin, along with Willie Lampkin. If that's the 7th round that you get, you're doing pretty good. And one other note, there's a lot of speculation about Brandon Aiyuk. Will he be a Niner? Will he be dealt? And there's talk about, maybe, the best they could do is get multiple, day 3 picks. Well, I will say this, if the Browns, I was looking at this chart with the Browns 6th-round picks, and the Browns have 4 6th-round picks. If by chance the 49ers said, hey, you know what? We'll trade you Brandon Aiyuk, Browns, and you don't have to give us a 3rd-round pick, and you don't have to give us a 4th-round pick. Give us 4 picks in the 6th round. We'll take it. Well, what could the Niners get with those 4 picks if you looked at the Matt Miller draft of who's available in round 6 and round 7? They could technically, if they traded Brandon Aiyuk to the Browns for 4 6th-round picks, turn around and use those 6th-round picks on Aeneas Peebles, really good pass rushing defensive tackle, Brashard Smith, running back / wide receiver SMU, super electric, dynamic skill position guy who can make big plays, Jalen Conyers, tight end who can block and catch and could really be a fantastic tight end down the road, and Ty Felton, the speedy 4-3 wide receiver from Maryland. I mean, technically, if you could get the Browns to give you 4 6-round picks for Brandon Aiyuk, you could turn Brandon Aiyuk into Aeneas Peebles, Brashard Smith, Jalen Conyers, and Ty Felton. Who would I rather have? I'd rather have those 4 young prospects than Aiyuk and his bloated contract and his beat up knee. That's just me. I don't think the trade's going to happen. I don't think the Niners will find a way to move Aiyuk. But if the Browns called offering those 4 6-round picks, I would do it in a heartbeat, and feel blessed that you have 4 more bites at the apple in a very deep NFL draft. All right, that does it for the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades and LearnKey Upskill Academy. The links are in the description for all of our sponsors. And thanks to you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.